first of all, I was watching you on Tiger Belly with Bobby, and it was fantastic.
So
you
good.
guys were amazing. But you told this story, and this shit resonated so much. It was about like the nerves and anxiety you had on The Irishman. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't done The Irishman, but there is something about like you sold out Madison Square Garden 1 million fucking times. Like you've done arenas around the world. You're the highest selling comic, and you walk into a movie set, and all that just goes away.
Goes away, man. Yeah, so this is something I'm not used to doing, which is acting, you know.
Yeah.
I do stand-up pretty much, you know, every night or trying to work on stuff. So now I'm in a scene with Pesci, De Niro, and Scorcese's coming out of nowhere. Like, I don't even know where this guy is at on set. Yeah. And it's nerve-wracking. It's you know, I had a lot of anxiety doing that.
Like Pesci's wife, he was doing a thing that was like improv, and it was kind of annoying Pesci, and Pesci's wife was like, keep doing it.
Yeah.
So you gotta like actively piss off Joe Pesci because his wife is saying it's a good idea, but I'm pissing off Joe Pesci. It's like a crazy thing.
But it's this weird thing that I think is like, I wonder if it's only in us where we can feel like the top of the world in our industry and that it means nothing the second we're in Hollywood. Yeah. And they kind of treat you as if it means nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Like, did the grips and stuff, the people who work on the movie, they know you and you're like the biggest star, right?
See, I never even think anybody knows me. I swear to God.
It's just, but I get what he's saying. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, every time I put tickets on sale, I ask myself, is anybody coming? So, I'll give you an example. I did this voiceover in Super Mario Brothers. I was Spike. I have 2 kids, 6 and 4. We're at Universal Studios. By the way, I feel like I have to come to the right here too because of the cologne.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk you over here.
Yeah. Every time I feel
like a warm pie, you smell it in a cartoon. The Italians are just drawn to it. It's like Tom Ford.
So we're at Universal Studios. There is a Super Mario store. So I said, kids, come on in. Let's go see Daddy's character. They got every character on the wall but mine, Spike. Yeah. So that's kind of sums up my career. Yeah. People. I have fans, but I'm not like widely known.
It's funny you think that. That's so funny you think that.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
That's the way I feel.
But I know it's the way you feel, and I felt that. Like I felt that in films or in Hollywood in general, and I think it's just because they care so little about stand-up. Like the Hollywood Matrix thinks it's like this weird like sideshow. And we walk in and we're like, wait a minute, no. This is the coolest thing and we're the best at it. And they're like, that's great. Here's your lines, here's your set, there's your trailer, you're sharing it with 3 other guys, there's 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
And you're like, I travel on a bus everywhere I go. Like, we don't give a fuck. Yeah.
It doesn't translate over to, like you're saying, TV and film. You know, but that's expected. Do we welcome, do the stand-ups welcome the actors to our... You know, like, you always hear this guy that's going to do stand-up, but he was something else prior.
Yeah.
And do we go, oh, yeah, you know, you're part of the family? I mean, do we do that?
We think that your career is struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing it again? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just always, why is stand-up always the default to somebody else's other career? It's not like we're going into professional football.
It's either stand-up or DJ.
That's the fallback.
You know what you're doing? You're signing up at Prize Picks. Use the promo code Schulz, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. That means you put in $100, you get $100 for free. That's all you got to do. PrizePicks.com, promo code Schulz. Let's get back to the show.
I saw Madonna once at she was at the Comedy Cellar. She was just sitting down at a table, and people couldn't even talk to one another. Every conversation was like this. Yeah, so totally, we'll definitely go out to the. Nobody was listening at all.
Somebody said that about hanging out with Eddie Murphy. Everything just stops, and everyone's looking at Eddie.
Yeah. Was that what? Was De Niro kind of? Was that like being around De Niro? Like the energy.
I haven't been in a social environment with him, so I don't know how that works socially. And he's so unassuming when he's out and about that you don't even really know it's him. You know, sometimes I didn't even know it was him. When we did the table read, I didn't even recognize him. He came in like a little hat.
Yeah.
He had a beard, and I wouldn't have recognized him on the street or if he was in a restaurant unless somebody told me.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't have that with him on set. I felt like on set it was like a work environment.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of like in our own little bubble.
Is he funny at all? Like, in between takes and that kind of shit? Like, would he bust your balls a little bit?
No.
Nothing.
No,
Are you trying to make them laugh?
I'm not trying to make anybody laugh.
No.
I'm not. When I'm on doing a movie, that's all I'm concerned about is I got to memorize these lines.
No small talk.
No, not a lot of that. He would like go to his chair.
So funny.
After the scene, I would go to my chair, and he would have like a bunch of papers and whatnot, and be on the phone. He'd be talking. I go, is this guy opening up another Nobu? Between scenes?
This is your life's work. This is the pinnacle of your career. This guy's flipping through the fucking times.
Yeah, he's looking at the expense reports. So I didn't know there wasn't that relationship. He's a quiet guy.
Yeah.
He's a quiet guy. And
Yeah.
he's kind of to himself, and he doesn't talk a lot. If you talk to him, he'll engage.
Yeah.
But it's not like we cut, and I'm like, what's going? Where you going tonight? There's none of that.
He's
It
like,
was-
I'm 80. Get some rest. Where am I going tonight? What about Pesci? Was Pesci a little bit?
Pesci, he was very cordial and hey, and welcome to the set, nice. And then he called me into his dressing room afterwards. We spoke in there. He was a lot more outgoing.
Yeah.
And we golfed together back in LA. So he's definitely more of a kind of a outgoing guy.
He lived with my grandparents, weirdly, for like a year.
Really?
When he was like a teenager. This is in like Montclair, New Jersey. I think he grew up out there in Montclair.
How are your grandparents?
He was friends
and
with my uncle. And I think that, I don't know, he like needed a place to stay or some shit and ended up just kind of like living with the grandparents and my uncle for a little while. Whoa. Yeah, randomly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then just goes and becomes one of the most iconic actors ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were just like sipping Robitussin for a summer. I think back in the day, Robitussin had like the, what is it called?
The amphetamines?
Yeah, it had like an amphetamine.
The lean. It's like,
so you could get kind of like high on it.
How do you know that?
This guy knows everything. He knows how to sell a fake Porsche. This guy, what are you talking about?
Do the movie sets ever get monotonous? Like, are you annoyed being on the set of a movie?
It was not the most fun experience for me.
What bothers you about it?
It's doing stand up, it's like
Can't even compare it.
you can't
dude.
compare it.
It's
the
so
best gig in the world.
boring compared to stand-up.
Yeah.
But you still want to do it. Like, I understand, I imagine where you're coming from, which is like your whole life, you're watching movies and you're seeing these things come to life. And you're like, I have the opportunity to do it with the greatest actors ever.
Mm-hmm.
And also storytelling, which is what, we do in comedy. The pinnacle of storytelling, in my opinion, is through film. Like, you actually get to fucking see it. But while you're making it,
But what's more satisfying when it's done, when you're watching it back?
That's where you get the satisfaction. So you got to kind of keep your eye on the prize going, okay, you got to kind of go through all this. And at the end of this, the end product is what you're kind of hoping that turns out fabulous.
Is that more satisfying than watching one of your specials when it's done and edited and all that?
I don't even like watching the specials. I like the process of doing stand-up comedy. I don't necessarily like to watch the end product on a special.
is it hard, like, doing jokes and everybody on set can't laugh because it fucks up the take? Mm-hmm. Did you get used to, like, doing jokes to silence?
That was a big problem for me, still is. So you would do this scene, right? As a comedian, they yell cut, and you're like, all right, where's the standing ovation? We're moving on. Moving on, there's no
feedback.
No feedback.
Yeah.
Although doing this new show, Chuck Lorre and Nick Bakay are very good about
Reassuring.
laughing.
That's great.
Yeah, so
Show is Bookie on Max, by the way.
Yeah.
Some directors know what like comics need,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll kind of lean in a little bit more to it. Because we do need, because there's moments when I came to the screening of the movie about my father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's moments where you're doing like you're being big, like the bird thing, where the act out you're doing, and it was like I'm imagining you doing that on set, and everybody's told to be quiet. And then they're going cut, and I'm imagining what I would feel in that moment. Like I'm being big and I'm trying to be funny.
Feel this big.
Yeah.
Trying to like, let's see if I could like reach out here and do something funny or whatever. And you do that, and a cut, and then it's like that's like.
De Niro takes out the Times.
Bro. Silence in an act out is just brutal.
Oh, it's the worst.
Bro,
It's
you
the
do an
worst.
act out on it. What you're hoping they yell cut and everybody like holding it in.
Yeah.
But when you don't hear it, even after the cut, you're like, that died.
Yeah.
So,
What was the biggest bomb you felt on set?
That one.
That 100%.
Yeah, that was definite. And because
Can you describe the scene for people watching?
So I'm like,
This is great.
I'm walking around. Me and De Niro are on
just them in the room.
in a bedroom, and we're talking about my wife's side of the family. And I think the line was something like, "Yeah," and they're walking around like birds. I'm like, "Baka!" But I'm even watching it. I go, I don't think that's that funny. Even I said, as I was watching, I go, no wonder I didn't get a laugh. That sucked.
But in the room is just the two of them. So it's him and De Niro, and he's going for it. And you don't know in the moment is De Niro like going, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen? Is he egging you on? Or is he going,
I think he was even going, what are you doing?
No. Wait, why? Why?
Why? Because you saw it. I'm sure you were sitting in your seat going, what the fuck is that? So, I don't know. It was a learning experience, that movie.
You got to say your Eddie Murphy one.
Oh, dude, I bombed so big in front of Eddie. Eddie's the reason I did stand-up.
So,
And I had 3 lines in this movie. And I have one with Eddie. And the line I fuck up 7 times in a row. And it's not a scene where there's 6 people here and a few cameras. It's in a nightclub with minimum 100 naked strippers dancing around, okay? And then people fake tipping the strippers, whatever. It's Jonah Hill, it's Eddie Murphy. And I gotta say a line, and I don't even know what the fucking line is, to be honest with you. Even to this day, I blacked it out, PTSD. But it's something like, yeah, he was doing coke because he had it all over the strip in Las Vegas. And I go, he's on the strip in Vegas. Oh, fuck. He's on a, and I do 5 in a row, and I finally get it. And I'm like, yeah, he's doing coke on the strip in Las Vegas. And then Eddie's supposed to kind of play with me. He goes, yeah. Bro, pin drop nothing, okay? I'm sitting there and I'm just like, well, this is everything I've ever dreamed for and my entire life, everyone that I worked for, nothing. I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, man, I just fucked up my moment. Because that morning, I'm going in going, I'm gonna kill this line. Eddie's gonna go, we should go back out on tour. You know what I mean? It's over.
yeah.
Literally the next scene, Felipe Esparza,
Yeah.
hilarious comic. Felipe comes out. He has a line, right? And he comes in, and his line is, hey, man, I got you these things. It's the edible arrangements, right? He comes in, he goes, I got you these things, these edible arrangements. Eddie's supposed to respond to him. He stops the scene. He goes, stop. He looks at Felipe, he goes, you're fucking hilarious. He stops production. He goes, you're hilarious. That was amazing. Let's do that again.
And you're there watching
I'm
us.
sitting there watching, faking tip strippers.
And he's doing his line. And Eddie's like, you got to do that again.
Just one tear comes down, bro.
So you were hoping that he would have said that to you.
Of course. Are you kidding me?
So did you have any banter with him coming into the scene off?
No, I was so nervous to even I just hold him to such high regard that I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In any way.
You have so many scenes with De Niro. That doesn't go well in your eyes. Are you scared to improv with him after?
Your confidence is a little shot.
Yeah.
I think coming off a physical bit in a movie and then getting nothing. The next scene, we're like, just stick it to the script. Stop improvising.
Oh, that was a choice you made at one.
It was like, in the moment.
Comically, go for it.
Yeah, you feel it.
Can you explain the idea of of making a choice in acting? Because I think that's something a lot of people don't get. You get a script, but it doesn't tell you physically what else to do. Mm-hmm. There's a story you told about the flick and the pin on Pesci's
lapel.
Yeah.
And
doesn't tell you to do it in the script.
It doesn't tell you, but you just, you start doing stuff in a scene that might not be written in the script. The problem is, if you do not commit, and this is true to stand-up comedy, and I know this because I could tell if I don't commit to a bit, it's dead in the water.
Yeah.
Same thing with acting. If you do not commit 100% to what you're doing, it comes off as false, fake. People see right through it.
Okay.
And I believe when I was walking around that bedroom like a bird, It wasn't 100% commitment for me.
Can you show us what that would look like? 100% commitment.
Oh God.
Almost like even just doing it, like if you want me to get physical. it was, see, I didn't get that.
I see it.
I didn't even. I just
Nobody did that, and
nobody did that. That's what I was looking for in the scene.
Yeah.
See, I just started to do a little of it, and I'm getting laughs.
backed out, yeah.
It wasn't as committed, and it shows. It bleeds right through the film. You saw it. I was looking at it in the movie theater going, it's not funny. Not funny. It was not.
Heckling your own movie.
I'm telling you.
This guy stinks.
It sucks. Who is this guy? Yeah, for me.
Did they yell cut mid like? No. Like, tell me what happens in the scene.
No, I think I'm doing that even longer. You know, trying to make something happen.
There's no way to cut around it because you could have cut it out. It's your movie.
Yeah, but even like that needed to be in there because I go, I'm like, it's you know, that's the best we got. I mean, you have grander ideas in your head of how something is going to go.
Yeah.
Like you and Eddie Murphy.
Dude.
You thought that was going to be, this is going to be an amazing scene. Yeah. And when it doesn't go as amazing as you'd like it to go, it's a learning experience, and B, it's very disappointing. But I took all those experiences from that movie and built upon it for the next project.
Yes.
That movie I had excruciating, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
I had excruciating sciatic pain ripping down my right leg, right?
From the bird?
No, just from life.
Okay.
From stress and back issues. And I was in Alabama, right? Away from my family, away from my kids for 9 weeks. And I was contemplating, what am I doing here? I have 2 kids. I'm doing a movie. This is fantastic. But I felt like I was disappointing almost my family.
Yeah, 2 months.
That was a long time. So not to say that I wasn't 100% committed, but externally, I wasn't in a good place.
Plus, if you're on the road for stand-up, every night I crush. So I'm away from my family, but I know what I just did. Mm-hmm. Movie, you don't know.
I also think that people don't realize and again, I'm not trying to count your pockets here, but when someone like you does a movie, when someone like Kevin Hart does a movie, oftentimes they're losing money. They have to stop touring, hoping that maybe this movie it absolutely explodes and you get a piece of it. Obviously, I don't know what the financials are right there, but I don't think people realize that. I think people just go, oh, movies. Everybody makes $20 million a movie, and that's just what it is. It's a labor of love until you're George Clooney.
Absolutely. That was, I basically did the movie for free.
Yeah.
It was a free, in comparison to what I make doing stand-up comedy. This was but you want to broaden your audience, Sometimes you want to challenge yourself. You're like, let's see what a movie feels like. Let's see what a TV show feels like. You kind of got to get out of your comfort zone.
What do you think with the TV show? In terms of scheduling and lifestyle, easier than the film?
For me, it was because it was in LA.
Yeah.
It was with Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre, maybe give some background on what he's done in television.
2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, Young Sheldon, Mom.
He don't need to work anymore.
Yeah, don't need to work anymore. Kaminsky Method. So he was a joy to work with, and working with someone like that who's got north of 1,000 episodes of TV under the belt, and they're all successful, I felt a lot more comfortable with him in that environment. We were in Los Angeles. He knows what he wants. He's quick. The whole thing about these TV and film, it's like you're waiting around. This was really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, this was 9-10 hour days, which is for that type of stuff is short days.
Yeah.
So I had a really totally different experience doing Bookie than I did the movie. Not the poo-poo of the movie, but the.
Who else is in Bookie?
Omar Dorsey plays my muscle. Andrea Anders is in it, plays my wife. Vanessa Ferlito is my sister.
Does your wife get to choose who your wife is, or have a say?
No. We ran into a little issue when I did a pilot 6 years ago for NBC.
Remember that pilot?
And Vanessa Lachey was going to play my wife. And my wife all of a sudden wanted to get into acting. Because I could do it. We could do it. Yeah. Acting. Well, no, so she had like there was a little kind of.
Think it was some jealousy, or you think?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. Not necessarily. I just think that's kind of hard to swallow sometimes, that your husband is going to have a wife on set. There might be a kissing scene. It's I don't blame her, but and she's fabulous. I mean, just she's so easygoing. But that was like a little like. Yeah, I want to do it. I want to try acting, and that was like.
How'd you work that out?
I said, oh, you ain't doing that. So,
what was her reaction?
No, she got over it. I think it was just a small speed bump in the road, and it was fine. But other than that, she's been since then I've had a couple wives in shows, and she doesn't care anymore.
So your wife on this show is just, she's hot.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If your wife doesn't get insecure, you're like, did we hire the right one? Should we go a little? What are we doing here?
You know what? We ended up becoming good friends with Vanessa and Andrea. All the wives I've had in these films.
Yeah.
Leslie Bibb and About My Father. We've become like fast friends with their families. So it's been great.